Good morning. Good morning, Suresh.
Morning, guys. Morning, one and all. So, guys, in our session yesterday, we have been discussing on some plug and play features of success factors. The way how the welcome, email, the password reset features is what we have been looking at. And in continuation to that, there are a few more tools that we have to get introduced. So, we'll continue that discussion today. So, in that context, the last topic as we saw, which is about the reset of the user accounts. So here when reset of user password, so this is a place where we went and we saw options of an admin helping the end user if they forgot their password to reset by using a supply password option, or resetting an individual password with a option where an email can be triggered from the success factor system to the user directly with the link, so that they can click on the link and they can reset their password. Two different ways. End of the day, it's all around password. Say sometimes if you have given your password mistake several times and your account is locked. So if you give your password multiple times, a wrong password, your account can be locked, right? That's common in Facebook, LinkedIn, banking sites everywhere. So when your account is locked, here, even for unlocking the account, you have a feature reset user account. Like the reset user password, reset user account is also something we have. So that will help through which is where an admin can help the end user to reset their accounts. So if, for example, David is a user who approached the admin. One second, guys. Yeah. If David is a user who approached the admin, so they can just search for that user, select and click on reset selected user account. The account, if it has been disabled, that will be unlocked again so that they can start using their password what they know and they can log in that way. So if the account has been really blocked here, I mean, it has been logged here, so it will come as a red color into mark. The way you are seeing a green color tick mark, instead of that, there will be a red color into mark that states that this account is currently logged. That way, just with a button click, we can unlock the account and the user can log in with the password what they know. If the password is also something that they don't know, then they can ask for a reset password option as well. That way. So in this manner, we can have the reset password and reset user accounts are the two different options. What a plug and play tool, that's something doesn't require any config. It's an available option that we can support with. So these kinds of requests will generally go to the admin team, the client side HR, the HR administrators will go to them. If there is a support project, it can come to the success factors consultant. If there is a project in which you as a consultant are working on a support phase. Project has been already implemented and you are supporting for the day-to-day tickets, any issues in the system and all. So in that case, they can also send it to the consultants, guys. That way. Next, now when we talk about this account getting logged after few wrong attempts and all, after how many wrong attempts will that be logged? Whether it is after three wrong attempts or five wrong attempts or 10 wrong attempts. So that's settings. There should be some settings for all that. So where do we do all that is? We have a place in the name of, if you search with the keyword as password, this one, password and login policy settings is an option that you have. Password and login policy settings. So here, this is a place where every company will have their own internal IT policies in terms of the length of the password, the age of the password, all that. So here we have minimum length as 8, maximum length of the password as 20, age of the password number of days. Like this, we have all this min, max, length, and age related. So accordingly, whatever what we said, the end user will be forced with that. So if you say maximum a password age is 243, so after 243 days, automatically when he log in, system will force him to change the password. Until he changes the password, system can't allow him to log in inside. That way we can have the password age, password length, all that. Apart from that, the attribute what we are talking, successive failed login attempts. After how many failed attempts, your account should be logged. That's after 5 is what it is mentioned. That too within 1 minute period. Within 1 minute, 5 times if the password has been given with the wrong password, then only the account will be locked. So within 1 minute you give 4 times and next minute you give 1 time also, it doesn't lock. Within 1 minute 5 times only it will lock that way. So you can change it to a required number. If you don't want locking at all, you can keep it to zero. Here it says set to zero will disable this option. So if you keep it to zero, so even you give 100 times a wrong password also, it doesn't lock that way. And then you have the different attributes in terms of the case sensitive, whether the password should be case sensitive or not. Mixed characters are required or not, like mandatory uppercase, lowercase, alphabetic characters mandatory, non-alpha characters are mandatory, special numbers and special characters mandatory. For everything, you have the respective checkboxes that you can enable and decide your password properties. And then SF give you some good option that password cannot contain the first name or last name or username. You can restrict them based on the checkboxes that you restrict here on the right hand side. So if you select all these three checkboxes in the password, if you try to keep your first name or last name or username, it will stop you. So now this lady, currently the ID that I'm using is Emily Clark. So if she keeps her password as Emily at the rate 123 or Clark at the rate 123 or Edmund at the rate 123 anything, the system will not accept. All three of these are omitted in the password properties. That way, SF has given this good option. Next, password history policy. So whenever system is going to ask you to change the password after certain number of days, generally uh, once I set a password, so now my password is say SAP at the rate 123. Next, I change it to SAP at the rate 234. Again, after 3 months, if the system is asking me to change, I might try to use the old password as SAP at the rate 123. It will stop me. So that is where it can enable the password history policy, where if I keep it as two, my last two passwords, it's not going to allow me. If I keep it as five, my last five passwords, it's not going to allow me to repeat my last five passwords. That way, up to last 10 password system can remember. You can set whatever number you want. So enabling password history policy up to how many last password system should remember and stop you. SF has given this option. So these are the different password related policy settings that we can have in terms of the minimum length, maximum length, after how many successive failed attempts, the types of characters in the password, all these different features, guys. So this is what a common requirement that you can speak uh, with their client, where their internal IT department will have these policies already finalized. It's not that something they are doing for SF. Every organization will have their IT policies in terms of these password length and all. Accordingly, that can be given to us and we can set up all these things. A one-time setup that way. So this is about password login policy settings. Next one is now across success factors, you will come across multiple places in all these around 11 modules of SF that I say. There can be multiple situations where emails are required to be triggered from the system. In employee central module and performance, recruitment, everywhere there will be different emails. Employee hiring, employee promotions, transfers, terminations level, or workflows for some reminders in terms of employees' anniversaries, kind of. So, in different contexts, there can be emails. So, across the suite of success factors, whatever are the emails that can be expected is what you can have all of them found under this tool called email notification template settings. Email notification template settings. If you search with this, you will land up in a page where the email notifications of multiple modules are listed here from top to bottom. You see on the left hand side, the list of notifications are there. All these lists from top to bottom, if you keep on scrolling, there are 150 plus email templates. These many. 150 plus email templates you can expect. These are all what SF standard delivered. On top of it, in the module of EC, in the module of recruitment, we will also see creating more additional custom email notifications also. So this is one consolidated place where all the email templates what SF standard offers are listed here, guys. So which emails to be triggered, what not required to be triggered, you can choose them accordingly for all of these. Okay. So example, now in a performance management module, so that is a module where we set some goals for every year. There will be different kinds of goals that can be set. And yeah, manager can give you some performance goals, some targets for this year that you have to achieve this, etc. Managers can give some HOD can give a target, all that. So whenever there is a goal that has been created for an employee from some a manager or a HOD, someone, employee should be notified. So that is this email that does goal creation notification is what a notification that is there. You select that. Say this goal creation notification will send to a user when a goal was created for him or her. So anybody in the company created a goal for you, it will be notifying you. That is a context. So if you want, you can keep it enabled. Select the checkbox. That's it. Selecting the checkbox is making the goal enabled when the notification enabled. What is the text of it? The subject of the email, the body of the email, all that. Please be advised that the objective so and so has been created to you by so and so. So what is the name of the goal will be dynamically populated, and also the person who created the goal for you, that will also be dynamically populated through these tokens. So the subject of the email, the body of the email, all that will be ready. So you just have to choose whether the email should trigger or not for that particular event. And if you want to make any changes to the content of the email, we have the options. So you want to make any changes in the content, you want to write some additional sentences, all that you can do that, and you can save the content. Even the subject level, you can make the changes. If you want to make this email as a high priority email, when the email reaches your mailbox, if you want to have that as a high priority email, you can just select this. It comes with an exclamation mark in the Outlook and all when you see that email, it has a high priority indicator. Like this, all these features are available. And here, if you want to come up with additional templates, all modules doesn't accept this. As of now, recruitment module and EC module supports additional custom emails that can be configured. But irrespective of that functionality, SF is giving you an option. I mean, SF is making sure that all possible situations of emails are covered according to standard SF itself. Wherever then email will be expected by the client, that is all that events are covered. So there will be no situation that here we need a email but SF did not give. You will not come across that situation. Each and every place where someone will expect email notification, as an employee, as a manager, as a HR, wherever, all possible events SF has already covered. But on top of it, if you still want any additional different kinds of notifications, reminders in the system and all, that's where in EC and recruitment, SF has given an option to configure in their respective module specific discussion. We'll anyways look at that as well. Okay. BN ready? Yeah.
Yes. So Suresh, actually, this information will be auto-populated, like the name and the sender and signature and all.
Yes. So these are the tokens. So what is the goal that has been created? That will be auto populated. Who created it for you? Their name also will be auto populated automatically. Okay.
Okay. So is it for like some set of employees or only for a person here? Like is it for a set of employees here, or can we choose a particular employee, like how it goes?
Everybody, if you enable it, it's for the entire organization. It's not for employee kind of. If you select it, you enable this email, it is going to trigger for everybody in the company. For whomever there is a goal created, it will be notified to them.
Okay,
Okay.
got it. Thank you.
And then in each and every email, you are seeing a signature as a token, guys. So signature means, so what should be at the bottom, the signature of the email is what we have to define the text of it. So for defining the signature related token, we will also have one template here. Here, email signature as a template. So when you click on it, so whenever there is an email being triggered from the success factor system, what should be the signature of the email? It is present here. So this is one standard thing that SF will be giving. This is what we can replace as, so regards, uh, if it is Coca-Cola as our client, HR operations, Coca-Cola like this regards HR operations, Coca-Cola. Like this, if you want to have a different text like this, we can. Success factors, HR operations, Coca-Cola. Like this, whatever text they want to have as a signature of every email that is being triggered out of the success factor system, they can keep this. So that is how the email signature content is also what we are deciding. So this way, you have one central location where all the module related email templates will be listed here. You can choose what to be enabled, what to be disabled accordingly, and module specific accordingly, they will be triggered at a respective event point. And you will also come across few email templates which are by default selected and you can't even disable them, like workflow related. Whenever employees applying a leave or any promotions, transfer requests, different kinds of things, and when an action has been initiated, the approver should definitely be notified. There is no option that you can disable a workflow. He should definitely be notified, and then only he gets to know that there is something waiting for his approval. So that's where here these are the things are mandatory things. You can't even disable them. SF takes care of such way. And even in these templates, also if there is any text changes you require, you can still do it. On the right hand side here, the content related to comes, you can make your changes that way. So this is how we'll have one central place to handle all the email notification templates. Yeah, Pooja?
Yeah, hi, Suresh. So I have a question, Suresh. Like in the goal management email template, so what I can see in the previous, the employee name will be mentioned. So let's suppose if I want to add more information like employee ID, how to go about it then?
It's all about tokens. We have different tokens. I can share you the list of tokens. So there is an enhancement request also raised to SAP asking to show the list of all the available tokens here itself. But
Mhm.
currently it is not yet enhanced. In the upcoming
Okay,
releases, we might see that feature. But currently we have a document that will show the different tokens. Like if you want to have the employee's department name to be coming in the body of the content, EMP department. If you want the
okay.
employee's location to be coming up, so EMP
Mhm.
underscore location. These are like this. We have different tokens. If you use this,
Okay,
so
so we
here
have to manually type it basically,
exactly
the
when you
tokens.
are
Okay, fine.
enhancing the text, you can keep these
Mhm.
tokens and type it. So, but what tokens
Mhm.
is what you by looking at the document will get to know. I can share that list.
Okay, done, Suresh. Yeah, thanks.
Excellent. Next, Vijayata.
Yeah, Suresh. So this is the provisioning system from where you're doing this activation, right?
No, 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 no. This is instance. See the
Okay.
look and feel of it. Look and feel of it. This is the instance. I came from the home page. In the home page on the top search area, I have typed as email and I have come. Okay. Looking at the checkboxes, don't confuse with provisioning. Provisioning
Okay.
is a complete separate login where the look and feel also will be different. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Right.
Very good.
Thank you.
So this is about the email templates. And next thing now we have to look at, guys. Now that we started getting access to the success factors instance provisioning, we are doing the platform success factors platform level settings like logo, the home page setup we have done. We have understood the upgrade center, how does it work, the plug and play different tools, password policies, all that. Now say from tomorrow we are going to start our configurations of the module either if you're EC consultant, EC configurations, you're a recruitment consultant, recruitment configurations, something if you're going to start doing it for any config that you're doing to understand whether it is working or not. The if you want to do your unit testing, whatever config you do, client will do the testing of course later on, but first whether the config what I made is working or not, to check it you also do a basic testing. So for testing that, you need some users, employee, manager, HR, some minimum team of data is what you need to test the scenarios they're working or not. That's why in the starting of the project, it is recommended you take some data from the client initially in the very starting of the project, some data of the client, like at least some 100 users, 200 users, basic data, and we upload it to the system initially. So that will help us in our basic internet initial level testing. So if we have to load some mini data kind of that, so one second. Yeah. So if you are going to load that minimum data initially in the starting of the project, so there we have 2 points of discussion. And now here, when before I show you about the data loads and all. First point is to realize success factors can be implemented with or without Employee Central. One important context to be raised. Success factors can be implemented with or without Employee Central. So, of course, most of you know that Employee Central is a very important module. It can be, it is very much important to learn. It's a core module of success factors. That's all what you might be hearing. But the fact is that, of course, it is an important module, but you don't call it as a mandatory module because many of the customers will definitely implement it. It has become an important one, but not a mandatory. In that context, no module of success factors is mandatory. Every module can be independently implemented. Okay. So in that case, if Employee Central is not implemented, and if they are implementing some other talent modules like recruitment, PMGM, any other modules, then how will the data of the employees come into the system? Because Employee Central is a module where you hire the employees, you maintain all their data and all. But if you say Employee Central is not implemented, then how is the employee data coming into the talent modules for the recruitment, performance, for all those modules to function? How is the data going to work? So that for that, how does the process look like is what we'll be discussing now. Okay. Yes, Sridhar?
Yeah, so you mentioned that the customer is going to provide some data for the testing purposes, right? For the consultants to check the configurations. So
Mhm.
they are going to give some dummy data or the actual, they don't share the actual
It is
employee data,
dummy
right?
data. Why don't they? How do you upload the data in the system then if they don't share?
Yeah, yeah. So how they ensure that the privacy, all these things, because you can see
That's
all
for
their
the
job
employment.
information, salary information, personal
Of
data,
course, yes,
address.
that is not with the, they don't have that restrictions at a development team level.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
okay, it will not be at a team level. Team is there's the one who has to support them with all the configurations. They upload all the data. Even a CEO salary, if they maintain the system, the consultant can definitely see that.
So
Okay, the
consultant.
permissions are all restricted to internal employees. As a Coca-Cola employee, employees of Coca-Cola should be restricted what to see, what not to see. But we, as a consultants who are working, we'll have the entire jump of data and we can upload it and we can see what we are uploading. All that. How is that not misused? How is
Okay.
that data not taken out of their landscape? Is what the point is. So what systems there in which we are giving the access when the client is sharing it, are they sharing it on our personal email IDs or office email IDs? Are they sharing the raw files or they are going to upload them in a secure location and they are asking us to download from that place?
Right.
So where that secure for location is something accessible only from the official laptops, it can't open out of SSO. These kinds of things is what they do. Okay. Okay. So
So
now,
more than HR,
yeah, sorry.
consultant is having the more access to the system, right? The client's information.
HR will also have the access.
Yeah,
HRs are the
they will
people who
have,
are
but
doing the hiring,
role
maintain the
specific, right?
salaries,
They're
like
more like role specific.
obviously. Consultant is a kind of a super admin, right? When you are
Yeah,
building the
right.
system. Okay, fine. So now, in terms of discussing success factors can be implemented with or without EC on that context, guys. Let me try to open one thing. Yeah, you see this? So customers, we are using success factors only as a talent solutions for only for recruitment, PMGM, whatever talent modules. And if they are not implementing success factors, So the main purpose of, I mean, if they're not implementing Employee Central, the main purpose of Employee Central is hire to retire. Hire the employee, generate an employee ID, maintain their salary data, do their promotions, transfers, all that. So if you don't have that module of EC in SF, then the purpose what that EC module generally does should be achieved in some other system in some other place. So that's where a client might be having some other HR system in which they do the hiring, promotions, all that. Some legacy HR system you can call. It can be Oracle, it can be some .NET system, it can be old SAP, SAP HR, anything it can be. So that way, if the client is not maintaining EC in SF and they do that EC part in a different other HR system, hiring, promotions, all that. So then there can be a integration between these two systems. The old HR system in which they actually do the hiring and SF system in which they use it for talent solutions, there can be an integration in place, guys. So that is where in the, say example, the old system is some Oracle system the client is using. So here in this Oracle system, they do the employee hiring. An employee number is generated. They maintain the employee salary data, personal details, their dependent details, contact details, each and every minute of information with the entire historic information right from their joining, their promotions, transfers, everything will be maintained. But if a customer is using success factors only for the talent modules like recruitment, performance, learning management, all that, then an integration can be set up in the systems so that for every employee joining in the Oracle system there, when they hire an employee in their Oracle old system, then an record can be integrated into success factors for a user to be created in the success factor system. Just a user, not an employee, just a user. The way we are users in Facebook, the way we are users in Gmail, LinkedIn, all that, we will also be users in success factors. It is called an employee here in the legacy system, and it's called as user in the SF system when you don't have EC. When you don't have EC implemented, you just call them as users. Hiring is happening here, promotions, transfers, termination, everything is happening here. For all the employees, there is a portal called Success Factors as a portal in which they can log in and they can carry out the performance process, learning management process, all the talent areas. That's an integration that can be set up, and a user record will be coming here. And the user record is a mini master record. Mini master data with only limited information, we'll have a record created here. So with around 20-25 columns of mini master like employee ID, employee name, employee email ID, who is the manager, who is the HR, which department, which location, date of joining, like this, some around 20-25 fields of mini master data will be there. With only that information, a user will be created in the SF system. That too, only the latest record. We don't maintain any historic information. For example, employee joined in 2010. From 2010 till 2020-24, what are the different changes have happened in the employee record? In the second year, he has got a promotion. In the third year, he has got a transfer. Next, there is an increment in 2013. Like that, every history can be in the old HR system. But in SF system, every time the latest mini master record as on date, today what is the employee's department, today what is the employee's grade, today employee's manager, employee's salary, latest as on date information only will be maintained in the SF system. It doesn't require to duplicate entire data again in SF. Already there is another system in which all the history is maintained. We need not duplicate that. To run the talent solutions like performance module, recruitment module, any other talent modules, today what is the employee's name, today what is the employee's designation, employee's manager, employee's HR, today's data is what I need, the latest one. So the mini master latest record is only integrated into the SF system from the old HR, from the old or the, whatever is the other legacy HR system the client has. So that is the approach. When you don't have employee central in place, only a mini master record is going to be maintained in the SF system. And the terminology wise also, we call them as users, not as employees. Okay, that's something that you have to understand, that projects in the real time can happen with or without employee central. Okay, yeah, Sridhar.
Yeah, so as per your knowledge, is there any existing legacy system SF is not supporting integration? Do you know that? Is it, it should be a SAP product or it can be any legacy?
I think success factors can integrate with anything here. It could do
Okay,
nothing to do with SAP or anything. Java, .NET, Oracle, any platform. It's an API. APIs are
correct.
something application programming interfaces, they say. Using the APIs, anyone can, any tool can connect with any other tool because it's not a direct handshake. It is a integration happening through the middleware platform. So middleware platform can take anything as a source and anything as a target.
Correct. So
Okay.
there is no restriction for anything.
Yes, that major advantage with success factors when compared to its competitors like Oracle or it might be the PeopleSoft, other HR products in the market. That's a main winning point. That success factors is compatible for multiple products to be integrated.
It's a API is nothing but a key value pair kind of thing. It will translate the data and it get it right, just like that.
Yeah, using
Eh,
the middleware platforms. You have
Yeah.
multiple middleware platforms like SAP's CPI. Next, you have
Okay.
Dell applications, Dell Boomi, multiple.
What is the most widely used one? CPI or
Yeah. Obviously, CPI.
okay? What is the
Cloud
full form
platform
of
of
that?
integration. It's an SAP product. Cloud platform of integration.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Pooja.
Yeah, Suresh, I have a question. So, let's suppose if I'm working on a user, okay. So, how the update happens? So, we have taken the data, like, so let's suppose 2010, and if in the middle any update happens, so how the update will happen? Any promotions,
It's an
any
integration.
transfer?
That's
Okay,
an
so it's all
integration in
related,
place.
right?
For
Okay.
every employee, hiring, promotions, transfers, termination, whatever from the employee's entry of the employee record into the system till the exit, any changes happening on that employee record that will trigger an integration so that
Oh,
as on
okay.
date on that day, whatever is the latest info that will be synchronized into the SF record. Tomorrow, if the employee has been terminated, that status also termination status will also be connected to SF and the employee's user record will be deactivated in the SF system.
Oh, okay, Suresh. Yeah, fine.
Yeah. So that is where an integration consultants will come in. So they will do their integration configurations, the way how these systems to be connected and all. Okay. Now, having integration is one way. There are customers who don't invest on integration due to budget restrictions or anything. Again, having an integration software, integration consultant, their budget, a project, all that, if they are not investing on integration, they can have a manual way of you uploading of user data. For every employee, if there are 1,000 employees, 1,000 users are to be loaded here. So for every employee record that is here, if you want to have a record to be loaded here into the SF system, a manual way can also be done, where there is a particular file format in which the SF user data can be uploaded. A particular file format is available. So that format is what we have as a SF given format, a compatible format in which we can load the data into the system. A mini master data of users to create a user for the talent modules. So as we'll be starting with employees until mid of next week sometime. So as of now, let us have a look at without EC, how does the system look like? So for that, if I have to load some mini master data of users, the place from where I can guess where I can import is import employee data as a place, guys. Import employee data. So the current system, what I'm showing you is already EC enabled system. That's why it is coming as employee as a terminology. If it is a non-EC system, it will come as import users. The terminology will be as import users instead of import employees, import users is what it will come that way. So here, once we go in, so here we have an option where we can choose it as the very first one, basic import. So that mini master import is what we call as official terminology is basic import. And here we have to choose the file what we prepared with the data and import it. But the file format is what we require now. What format of data we can upload is the important point. So the file format is we have a place called employee export. Again, if it is a non-EC system, it comes as user export. The terminology will be user export. So if you go to this place, so this internally the terminology is still showing the user. The second file, export user file is the button that you have. You just click on this export user file button, system will download the file, the format in which the system gives me the existing data. Export user file will download the existing user data, whoever are the existing users, that will be downloaded. In which format it downloaded, the same format I can use to upload again 100 more records or 1000 more records if I want to upload into the system. The same format in which it got downloaded, I can add the records and import it back. That is it. So let me download and show you the file format. How does it look like? Yeah, Mira.
I think I'll wait till you finish because I was just wondering, do you have to like enter all the fields that get downloaded, or can you identify what's required
We'll
and what's
discuss
not
that.
required?
We'll discuss that.
Yeah.
So now we have the place where I can import the data. For importing, first I need the file format. For that, I went to this place called export users, where the second button, the center button here is what I clicked, in which it downloaded me the existing user data in a particular format. So whichever format it downloaded, that is a format I can use even for importing the data back into the system, is what I am saying. But when I say it is downloading the existing users, now this is a fresh project you started. This is the day one or the week one you started your configurations. Now you are ready to upload the users. Now, if the client gives me some data, some 100 users or 200 users, that I am to upload first time. But now I said the existing users is downloaded. So what will contain in the system guys? We haven't loaded any user data till now. Then what could this file contain? The one that I'm going to show you now. Anyone?
Some sample data it will show. Or
Sample should not be the case because it's a customer system. No sample is accepted. Anyone
Just
else?
the headers.
Just the headers. Good. Any other option? One more answer I'll take. Fine. So the point is, system will give you the IDs of the consultants. Already there are consultant IDs. You created, now there are 5 consultants. All 5 of the consultants have created their own IDs in the system. When they got their provisioning access, from that they created their instance access. Now 5 consultants have the instance login. So they are also users in the system. Whether they are whether they are being as a end users or they are a configuration users, that is secondary. End of the day, everybody who has a login into the system, they are users. So the system, when it is downloaded the file, in the first week when you download, you will have the initial 3, 4, or 5, 6 records for the consultants. Whoever are the team of consultants, they already created their IDs in the instance. Their IDs, their records will be there. From the next row is where what the client given actual customer specific data is also what we can include. We can enhance the file and upload the updated file. So first time when you download, it is what it will contain the consultant IDs. That is one important point. So end of the day, this file is talking about all users in the system. Everybody who has a login into the system is about this file. It's not about employee data. I call it as user data. Anybody having a login is a user. That way. And this is how the file format looks like. That mini master data file with 20, 25 different columns that I told you. This is the file format in which the first 2 rows are about the column headers. The first 2 rows are column headers, and from third row is where the actual data of the users is to be set up. And these first 2 rows level, why we have 2 headers is, the first row is the technical field names. The second row is the field labels, what you see on the front end. First row, if you see MI, MI is a middle name. Middle name is the field ID. MI is the field ID. The proper label that you see on the front end is middle name. That's the label. So the field headers and the field labels too will be there. So you should not make any changes on that. From third row is only where the user data can be set up in the system. In which the first 3, 4 rows are the consultants IDs will also be there. From next row is where you can start entering your client specific data and upload the users. But for that, we should now understand what are these columns, what is the meaning of each and one of these columns is what we have to understand, which are mandatory, non-mandatory. We'll discuss about all these cells now. Yes, Sridhar?
So is there any way to add any extra column, or is this standard template we cannot, delete any column and add any extra column, or any modification is not possible, right? This is pretty much standard.
You ask a question or you passing a statement?
No, I'm just asking, is SF allowing
So
any?
it is allowing. It is allowing. Your question should be, is that possible or not?
Yeah.
Answer is yes, it is possible.
Yes.
The point is we have the place. So just allow me to complete the entire file. You will also see how the custom columns can be added, all that. Okay.
Okay, fine.
Fine. So guys, here we have the first two fixed rows. Some third row is what I told. And the columns wise, the first column, guys, is the status column. Status is talking about whether the only two values it will accept is active or inactive. Active or inactive, and it is not employee status, it is the user account status to log in into the system, whether that login ID should work or not. So this 121 as ID should work or not to log in into the system. That is the thing. Employees active or employees terminated, employees retired or employees on suspension. That is all the employee status. This is only the account login status. It will accept only two values, active or inactive. Okay. And in this system, guys, remember that whenever we download this file, example, if the system is having any terminated users, all that, the people who are terminated and whose account has been deactivated, their IDs will also be present in this file at the bottom of the file. So in this system, current system, the demo system, what I'm using, there are 480, around 481 users, two header rows and total 483. So 480 plus users are in the system, out of which there are active and inactive both records. So around 430 are active records, the rest all are the inactive records. That means these are the employees who used to be part of this organization and now they have been terminated and their access has been revoked, inactive. That way, this file will every time bring you the entire list of user base, active and inactive, all inclusive. And every time the inactive users will be sorted to the bottom of the file by the time you download. So this is the status value, status column, which takes only active or inactive. Then you have user ID. User ID is where we have it as a alphanumeric concept. It's nothing but an employee ID, guys. Remember, user ID in SF is nothing but employee ID. It can be pure alphabetic, pure numeric, or pure alphabetic. You see 4 A's. You see admin is an ID. All these, it's an employee ID in success factors can be pure numeric, pure alphabetic, or alphanumeric. You see this, it is combined with numbers and letters. So generally employee ID means we think only numbers, but SF is not restricting that way. If you want to have your employee IDs with pure alphabetic IDs or alphanumeric combined IDs also, SF is supporting. That is this. And then username. Username is your login name on the success factor system. When you're logging in, with what login name you have to use, whether they can use the same user ID repeated or the username can be different. Your user ID and your username with what you log into the system can be different. It need not be the same. So that way we have a separate column. Then you have first name, nickname, middle name, last name, all these basic fields. And then you have email ID of the user that can be maintained, the job title, the latest as on date today, what is this person's job title. Next, gender. Gender will take only the codes, the drop down value codes, M for male, F for female, only codes will take. It will not take the text. And if your company supports different other gender values apart from male, female, transgender, or some other additional values you want to maintain, you can also maintain the codes of that. Next, you have the manager and HR columns here, guys. Manager and HR columns, these are very much important. These are mandatory columns. First thing to realize is it's a mandatory column. You should give the manager ID and the HR ID, not the name. ID of the manager, ID of the HR is what you have to give. If you don't know at the time when you are setting up the user for the first time, you don't know whom to be tagged as a manager, whom to be tagged as a HR and all, we can use standard strings. This one you see, no underscore manager, no underscore HR. You have the standard strings that we can use. No underscore manager, no underscore HR has two strings. That way. So this is what SF is SF given standard strings that can be used. You can't leave these cells blank. Either you give the actual manager or HR ID or use these strings. And this is a expected certification question you can make a note of. These are the standard strings. In uppercase, we have to use this. These are the two mandatory columns that way. And later you also have other columns related to department of the employee, location of the employee, time zone, hire date, job title, like this, different columns. In which till this HR column is what you have to consider as the first mandatory set of fields that you have to input. After this, in between, all the other mini master columns are all optional. Address, phone number, fax number, all these are optional. The next important one is default locale. Default locale. That's nothing but a default language. When the user is logging into the success factor system for the first time, in which language he should see the system. Okay, so example, other languages is where once they log in, they can have an option to change their login. That's what we know. Apart from that, for the first time when they log in which language they have to explore the system is the code that we can give a default language code. That is this. So if it is US English, EN underscore US. If it is British English, EN underscore GB. Like this, we can give the language code. Okay. And you need not memorize this language codes, guys. You will have them in the provisioning system. In the provisioning system, when you are activating yesterday, where previously when we have seen that we have a place in the provisioning where we can enable the language packs. So there we have the list of all the languages with their codes also mentioned over there. You can take it from there. So nobody is going to ask you the language codes in interviews or in certification. Don't bother. It's something 43 language codes. You need not by heart them. You have them in the screen already available in the provisioning. Okay. Let me just show you that place in the provisioning as well. So once you are into the company, the very first line called company settings, you go there. So under the language pack, so these are the list of all the languages. The third column is where you have the code of every language. So even EN underscore GB is for the British English, UK English. EN underscore US is for the US English. That way you have it. Okay. So that is about the default locale. So after the default locale, again in between all these columns you can exclude. And again one more that you have to fill is assignment ID external. This is one column almost at the end of the file, assignment ID external. This is what you have to repeat with the user ID. Whatever has been given in the column B in the user ID, which is nothing but an employee ID of SF, this is what you can repeat into the last column, on the extreme last column, almost in the last but three. Here you have it, assignment ID external. This is where you have to repeat the input once again. So this is used for integrations. Whenever success factors is being integrated with any other system and all, so they have added this as a prerequisite column to be maintained. So this was initially not there. In the end of 2021, SF has enhanced it with this column for additional technical reasons. They just ask us to repeat the input. So that way we have the first set of columns till the HR that we make sure that we are maintaining the data. After that, in between, you can skip all this non-mandatory. The next important is the default locale. Once that is also done, again, the last one, assignment ID external, is what a repeat of the user ID that you have to maintain. So this way, once we prepare the file with whatever new records you want to import for 100, 200,000, whatever, you can load them and the users can be created. So these are the minimum columns that you are required to load. Other columns, if you have the data, it is definitely open. Departments, divisions, locations, time zone, whatever fields you want to maintain, you are still open for maintaining. Client is able to provide the data. Okay, that is the way the file will be looking at. So we'll also practically add a record, upload the user and see how the user record is created. We'll also have a look at that. You have been ready?
Yes, so initially you said active and inactive, like doesn't matter whether they are terminated or active, right? For example, few
No, the point is,
Hmm.
don't refer this status field as employee status. This is about user account working or not. I might be an active employee. I'm not terminated in the company, but due to any reason, if company tried to suspend my access to the system due to some other disciplinary actions or anything, still my employment is active, but my user ID might be marked to inactive. So I will not be able to log in. but I'm still an employee of this company. My salary will be given, everything is fine. My access to the system is restricted that way.
In the same way, like few companies give access to employees who got terminated for 1 or 2 years. So even they will be reflecting as active, right? If they have access to
Yes,
the
yes. It's
system.
all about the employee ID is working or not. Definitely, if there are any reasons why you should give an access to an employee who has been terminated, it's the company's call. So here we have to keep it active.
Okay.
Okay,
Got it. Thank you.
sounds good. Now here to create a user to upload the file. Okay, let me try to quickly do it, guys. We have 5 minutes more. So adding a new user you can do anywhere. Need not be first line, need not be last line. You can add anywhere. A new user is what I can update active. So demo underscore June 28 and alphanumeric ID is what I'm giving. Same thing as username also. First name as demo, middle name as user, last name as June 28. Demo user June 28 is a name that I am giving. And email ID, some dummy email ID xyz@gmail.com is what I give. Title as some analyst, gender as some male, email ID column repeated. There is someone just added a custom column. I'm repeating it. Next, manager and HR. If you know the manager, so if I want to make admin as the manager of this person, admin as the ID as given manager. For HR, I'm giving, I don't know the HR, no underscore HR. So I'm just giving an example of one column with the input, one column without the input, both. That's it. Till the HR are important. In between, it's not mandatory to maintain this. The next important is the language. So if I want the user's default language to be British English, EN underscore GB is what I can give. The UK English is his default language. And then the user ID is what I am going to repeat finally in the end of the file here. And the assignment ID external column. That's it. The record has been created. Now, just for demonstration purpose, only one record I have done. Save this and import it. And remember, the files that we are using for import in SuccessFactors are CSV formats, .csv. These are not Excel. The file what I filled till now is not an Excel, guys. It's a .csv, comma separated value. They look like a Excel, but they are CSV files. Okay. Just give me a moment. Where did I save the file? How's the balance? Let me save it on my desktop once again. Yeah, I just selected the file. So basic import file, the file path is selected. That's it on the right hand bottom corner. Click on import button. So when you click on import, this file is what it is going to be processed in the system where it says your file has been uploaded to the server. It doesn't say your data is loaded. It just says your file is loaded, where internally it will examine whether the file format is properly maintained, the mandatory fields are maintained, the field drop down values, everything is properly handled is what it will take care. Whether once it is completely processed, an email will be generated on this registered which user has uploaded this data to that user's mail ID. A confirmation email will be sent with the log. So total these many records are loaded, out of which these are success, these are failures, the reason for failures. all that is what you'll receive on the email, guys, the confirmation. So it will not immediately process the data. It will say the file is loaded and it will take time to process it. It should not take too much time. Within minute, it will process it off. So here on the top search area, if you search for that demo user, what is ID they have taken? Demo underscore June 28. See, that user is processed already. Demo user June 28, it is immediately processed. So even you are having thousands of records also, less than 2-3 minutes, it will process the file. Okay, this way. And now this, if I open this user that got uploaded, so this is a profile of that user created. Demo user as a profile that is got created with just a request, just a profile. A user is available, first name, middle name, last name, email ID, what I have given, with all that, just a user is available, but all the sections of the information are blank because it is just a mini master data that I have loaded with only a mini mandatory fields what are required for creating a user, that only I maintain. Rest all sections shows no data. So all these other sections, how do we load the data and all, is part of Employee Central we'll be looking at anyways. So this is how a user creation can happen, where we download the file from this export user file in this format. What is the file, in which format it downloaded? In that I'll add additional records and I'll upload the file back into the system in this place called import employee data. And this import employee data as a place, we will import the data back into the system, choosing it as basic import. Okay. Now you can ask me, are we required to upload the entire file? For one user to be loaded, am I required to upload the entire file? It's not mandatory, guys. So you have an option here, the place where you exported the file format. I used the second option where it downloaded the existing data and I added a new record in that. If you click on the first button, it will bring you only the file format. The first button, export template, is going to bring only the file format without any data. And if I want to load one user, I'll just add that record and I'll upload. That is also possible. But why do initial days I recommend you to use this export user file is, so in this one, it is showing you the existing data of the users, so that when you're preparing the new record and all, it will give you a reference of the existing data, so that initial days you will have an understanding of in which column what kind of data to be maintained, in gender codes to be maintained, in manager these strings to be maintained. You will have a reference of the existing data until you get used to this. So after 2 weeks of regular practice, if you are already used to how to create a user, then even if you go for export template also, it's fine. It's not mandatory that you have to load the entire data every time. Okay. And when you are loading the entire data, don't think that it is going to duplicate. Are these records again duplicate employees are created? No. User ID is a primary key. So with this ID, you upload record 100 times also, it will just override the same thing. New 121 is ID that will be present only once. 160 is an ID that will be present only once. It's not going to create any duplicate. So whenever it is processing each record one by one in your file, when it comes to this record, this will identify this is a new user which is not in the database. This is a new user coming for the first time, and that user will be created in the system. The existing users which are already there will not be duplicated, it will be overridden. So against this employee number 121, which is already in the system, this time if you change the title from engineering director to, if you update it as a senior engineer director, and if you upload it, so against the same employee ID 121, the title is updated. But there is no duplicate created. Against the same ID, the title is updated. That's how the file functions. Okay. Yeah, Pooja.
Yeah, Suresh, so let's suppose in the CSV file, we forgot to fill one column, the mandatory one. So what, like this error the system will throw, how will come to know?
Well, system will throw an error. It will send you in the log file that I told you, that it will send on your email ID. In the log, that will clearly say this record is failure, and the reason for failure is the mandatory input field missing, this email ID missing, or whatever, whichever is a mandatory field. It will throw an error in the log file.
Okay. Oh, okay,
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, be ready.
No, Suresh, you have already answered my question. I was about to ask about this duplicate thing.
Sounds good. So this is how we prepare the file format, guys. And the user creation and all happen. So we'll again continue current back on Monday. I'll give a quick recap of this thing. And we have for these users that are being created newly in the system, how can we set up the permissions? Now a user got created. Tomorrow if he's logging in, what he can see, what he should not see, all that permissions is important. So permissioning concept is what we'll focus on the Monday session. Okay. That's all for now. Thank you one and all. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you, Suresh.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Suresh.
Suresh.
Thank you, Suresh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take it.